This week on Russia Today we have a new series of special reports from the Solovetsky Islands in the far north of Russia. It's one of the most important holy sites for the Russian Orthodox Church, and many thousands travel there each year to revel in its rich history and beauty. But island life can be difficult. And Smith takes a look now at the history and the future of the islands and the tiny population for whom they're home. Tranquil, calm, holy. Just some of the words that can be used to describe the Solovetsky Islands, 160 kilometres or 100 miles south of the Arctic Circle, and a 50-minute plane ride from Arkhangelsk on mainland Russia.
Dozens of islands and hundreds of lakes make up the archipelago, but they themselves are accessible only by sea, and that's only open to boats 6 months of the year. But despite its remoteness, people have chosen to live here on these islands for thousands of years, evidence of which is all around.
The landscape was carved by the Ice Age, but man has been cultivating it for at least the last 7,000 years. These labyrinths and burial mounds date back to Neolithic times. And man has left its mark in other ways, particularly since the 15th century. It was then that the Russian Orthodox Church set up its first monastery here. The fortress-like site dominates the skyline of the main island of Solovetsky, whether you approach the archipelago by air or sea. The islands are dotted with churches and religious ruins, for centuries places of pilgrimage and worship. But the island has also known dark times. This sanctuary became a living hell for almost 500,000 people as part of a concentration camp set up in the 1920s, the precursor to the Gulag system operated during Soviet times. More recently, the islands have had to face up to a new crisis, a dwindling population, down from 4,000 islanders 20 years ago to currently just around 900. The decline is easy to explain. Life is tough here. Harsh winters, poor infrastructure, food in short supply and expensive. Inadequate antiquated housing, few employment opportunities. The island's governors are optimistic, however. The population slump has plateaued.
Some people leave the islands, some of them die, but newcomers and newborns average out in the end.
Alexei is part of a new wave of islanders. He moved back only recently. Like many others, he works for the island's biggest employer, the museum service. His fiancée Lena has also left the mainland, for love and for what she sees as a bright future.
I like living and working here. In Solovki I have a separate apartment, and in Arkhangelsk I have to share a flat with my parents.
So far, we'd like to live in Solovki, then we'll see. What will be, will be. Solovetsky Islands are a beautiful and quiet place. There is no hustle and bustle like in a city.
Perhaps by the time this young couple have children, the island will look startlingly different. Funding from both the regional and federal government is being pumped into the islands to improve roads, services and facilities for tourists, the island's most valuable and fastest growing money spinner. In fact, this area, the island head says, will be almost unrecognisable to its residents, without of course sacrificing the signature tranquility and beauty for which it's justly famous.
These islands have witnessed so much. They've been shaped by the elements and the people that have lived here, by their history and their religion. And now this archipelago is about to witness a new dawn, and with it, a new lease of life.
Anne Smith, Russia Today, Solovetsky Island.